Today, we're going to talk about how to deal with nerves during an interview. Have you been in an interview and you found out that you are very anxious before the interview and even during the interview? Recently, I got a call from one of our mentees who shared their concern with me to say, Dr. Carl, I'm going for an interview and I'm so anxious about the interview. And in my previous interview, completely lost my voice during the interview because I was scared. I was so anxious that I got to the point I did not know what to respond for a simple question that I would have responded very well if I was not anxious. So that is the reason for today's video. And this video is part of a series in um, how to land your job successfully. So if you haven't watched our previous videos on that, you can just go to our channel and you would see a number of videos we've done regarding how to land your job successfully. So why do we have to go through this? Because it's important that when you're going for an interview, you need to know that, yes, as a human being, sometimes you can be very scared or anxious about the questions you're going to be asked, the people who you're going to meet. And again, you're also very anxious whether am I really going to get the job or not? Or are they just going to waste my time? So all these things can lead to one having nerves during an interview, but it doesn't have to be so. Um, Sharing my own personal experience when I started, it wasn't a job interview though, but I found out that I was finding it difficult to speak to service users whenever I'm in the line of my work. I am placed to make calls. I myself very anxious. Who is going to be responding at the other end? Would they understand my English? Do they think I have accent? Would they drop the call on me? So all those things made me, I was totally avoiding making calls to service users. When I'm on call or when I'm scheduled to be on call, I'll find myself very anxious. So I can relate with this particular member of our academy who had reached out to me to say I lost my voice while I was being interviewed in a very important job role. So here are some few points I think you can use to deal with nerves during an interview so that you don't have to freak out in an interview. One of the things you need to tell yourself is that you are already a very excellent candidate. For you to be invited for an interview means that you are already one of the top candidates. If not, you would not have been invited. So that should give you an assurance that they've gone through your CV and seen that you are a potential candidate and a potential employee to work with. So that should encourage you. The second thing, you need to view the interview as it's a meeting. So if you look at it that you're going in for a meeting with your potential employer, it's a different thing than when you look at it that it's an exam, it's an interview. So if you have been in a meeting, you find out that it's an interaction, and that's basically what an interview is all about. So they are interacting with you, they're going to be asking you things about yourself. Would you feel anxious when somebody says, "Tell me about yourself," in a place different from in a format different from an interview? No, you usually would just go ahead and say, I am this person, I do this, I do that, I like this, I like that, I am from this place or from that place. These are the things I enjoy doing. So you feel free to do that. So if in an interview you simulate that reality, I mean that environment, that okay, it is a meeting, I'm just meeting with this colleague of mine or potential partners. So it will try to calm the nerves that it's not a hot seat that you're going to be in. So I want to encourage you to look at it like that. Then the third thing that I feel that you can do is before the interview, try and understand the organization you're going to be working in, or that is in the organization that is interviewing you. That would mean doing doing your due diligence. So understanding their goals, their strategies, their vision for the next 5 years. Just do a bit of reading around the organization. It also gives you an idea of what you're going to be asked in the interview. For instance, if you go to their website, you might be able to see um, the people who are going to interview you and read a little about them. When you do that, it gives you that consciousness that these are human beings. Of course, they are human beings. They are not there to terrify you. They want to understand whether you're the right candidate for them to work with or the right employee for them to work with. So see it, like I said before, like an interaction, but you need to do your due diligence to understand those who are going to be speaking with you. Based on that, you'll be able to know the sort of things you can say to them. If you've read, if they've done projects, they might be asking you things around that. If they have just launched maybe a strategy or a vision for the organization for the next few years, and you've read all those things, you might be chipping those things into your discussion with them. So it helps to calm your nerves. So the next thing I want to um, chip in here is that you need to practice before your interview. It also helps. So practice a lot and you would improve. For instance, there are a number of questions, interview questions that you always be asked, or you may always be asked during an interview. Those might include tell us about yourself. So you need to practice about how to respond to that question. Tell us about yourself. There are other questions about depending on the kind of role you are in. If it's the role that you're going to be working with different partners, multidisciplinary teams, there might be questions around working with teams. If it's a role that you're going to be working with difficult service users or difficult colleagues, questions around um, how to manage conflict in a team, those sort of things might come on board. And there might be questions around situations that play out in organizations. And of course, there might be questions about the role itself, because usually the organization would describe the job they want the employee to undertake. They will talk about the eligibility criteria and things like that. So if you practice questions along that line, it will help to calm your nerves, help to give you more confidence. And again, um, various ways you can practice. You can practice looking at the mirror, go to the mirror, present. I was having a discussion with my colleagues yesterday in our Christmas party, and one of the things that came up was them talking about different ways that they do their practice. Some will first of all write the thing they want um, to to say. It could be scripting it, then try to read it out for yourself, present on a mirror, present to your friends, to your partner, to your wife, to your husband, to your friends, anybody who cares to listen. Present to them. Also present to your colleagues, because when you have different perspectives and feedback from everybody, it gives you an opportunity to reflect whether all the things you've been saying the right thing, and it improves your confidence to go into the interview space and not feel nervous. Again, if you go for the interview and you meet any question you have not prepared for, there's no reason to freak out. There's no reason to blank out or to lose your voice. You need that your voice to pass your interview. You need the voice. You need to convince your interviewer. You need to convince your employer that you can deliver, and part of it is your ability to communicate whatever you've been asked to do. So if in an interview situation, you find out that you have been asked a difficult question, there are different ways to handle that. One of the ways could be, you can tell them to ask you the same question in a different way, or you can tell them, yes, let me think about this question, and you will begin to respond. Don't just jump into the question, because you might begin to answer off tangents. You're not responding to what you've been asked, but politely say, can you repeat this question in a different way to help me understand what you've asked me. You need to be confident because that's the way to go. I mean, there's no point going to answer the question what you think the way they I mean the way you think it should be without understanding the way they want it to be answered. So don't let nerves, don't let anxiety, don't let fear deprive you from landing that, I mean, successfully interviewing well in that interview. You know, many people would have applied with you. There may be thousands of applications or hundreds of applications, and you were selected for an interview. It means that you're a top ranking candidate. Therefore, you have to make use of that opportunity. Don't lose that because of nerve. I hope this video has been useful to you. Please subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up. And I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.